Kakashi Hatake is arguably the greatest prodigy in the history of Naruto, graduating the academy at just 5 years old and being promoted to Chunin at 6. He's the youngest Genin and Chunin in history. But how would the greatest prodigy ever fare against the young shinobi of the generations after his? In other words, today we'll be exploring and breaking down the question, what would happen if Kid Kakashi ran the Konoha 12 Gauntlet? Before we begin exploring anything though, for more in-depth Naruto discussions and battle breakdowns, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell to be among the first to know when new content drops. But without any further ado, let's begin. Quickly, I'd like to establish which forms of these characters we're talking about. While I usually make the cutoff for kid characters at 12 years old, as 13 is technically the start of being a teenager, for the sake of making this video more interesting, I'll be granting the Konoha 12 their forms through the end of part 1. Since some of the Konoha 12 at that point are as old as 14, I'll make Kakashi's age cutoff 13. I'd also like to quickly add that Kakashi will be getting a full recovery between matches, which a lot of the time he won't actually need, as you'll see, and each battle will have standard battle stipulations. I'd also like to clear up a few misconceptions so we can get a solid understanding of what this Kakashi is capable of. What I'm about to say is something that people either don't seem to know or just don't like to acknowledge, but Kakashi is 4 years younger than Obito, roughly, meaning he likely became a Jonin around 9 years old, but definitely no older than 10. This means by 13, Kakashi has been a Jonin for 3 to 4 years and an Anbu member for at least 2 years. The reason we know Kakashi is about 4 years younger than Obito is because Kakashi graduated at 5 and became a Chunin at 6, while Obito graduated at 9 and became a Chunin at 11. The fact that they participated in the Chunin exams together when Kakashi got promoted in the manga means that he would have had to have graduated at the same time as Obito, making Kakashi and Obito 4 years apart. There is contradictory information out there, specifically in Data Book 4, which lists Obito and Kakashi at the same age, but seeing how Kakashi being the youngest graduate ever at 5 years old is reconfirmed in the Itachi Daylight novel, and we see them again participate in the Chunin exams together when Kakashi gets promoted, the most recent and consistent interpretation is that they are in fact 4 years apart, which makes the Data Book for adult ages the error. So you have two options here. Either you can accept the data book graduation and promotion ages that you see throughout all of the data books, plus the Itachi Daylight novel stuff, plus the manga showing them participating in the Chunin exams, or you can accept the one statement from Data Book 4 that suggests that they're the same age. But seeing how Kishimoto does not write these data books by himself, I tend to lean in the direction of the more consistent information that he is in fact 4 years younger than Obito, and look at the Data Book 4 statement as sort of an error or oversight by one of the people helping him to write the data book. With that out of the way, what exactly can this version of Kakashi do? Well, just as a brief overview, he has a fully developed 3-Tomo Sharingan, possesses at least 2 changes in chakra nature, and has at least 2 A-rank ninjutsu in his arsenal in the Chidori and the Rasengan. Also, depending on if you consider the Kakashi backstory anime stuff canon, Kakashi should be a lightning timer and have access to his ninja hounds. His stamina also gets a substantial boost here. The reason why the arc's canonicity is debated is because it's not directly from the manga, but it is inspired by a bit of promotional material from Kishimoto that we can see here. Now, this shows him as an Anbu with the ninja hounds, and it even gives a description of what that arc is about. So based on those factors and the fact that it doesn't actually contradict anything in the manga material and the fact that we know that Kishimoto actually worked on this arc directly, I do accept its canonicity, or at least consider it an extended canon. However, I'll address it more later on as it becomes more important. With all of that out of the way, let's begin. The first member of the Konoha 12 that Kakashi will be facing off against is Ino. This requires 0 deliberation, as Kakashi slams with negative difficulty. He can literally just blitz her and knock her out or kill her with one shot. No senzu bean required here. So, the next matchup is more of the same. Sakura fares no better than Ino. Kakashi wins via humiliation, negative difficulty. In case you were wondering, these early matchups are pretty much all going to be like this. TenTen loses soundly, Choji gets KO'd in seconds, Shikamaru probably just gives up, and if he doesn't, he still loses. Hinata wouldn't be able to muster up the courage, and even if she could, she gets bodied. Kiba at least has something going for him here, but his whole kit is just the lowest quality, best value version of Kakashi's basic kit. Kakashi has better ninja hounds, speed, taijutsu, and even senses. Honestly, Kakashi could probably run through the first 7 members of the Konoha 12 back to back to back without even breaking a sweat. Although it won't be much more difficult, Shino at the very least would give Kakashi a little pause. His usage of the beetles paired with his tactical mind and cool-headedness should allow him to make it past the first 10 seconds, unlike everyone else on here before him. However, Kakashi's 3 Tomo Sharingan should allow him to see Shino's bugs, and his far superior physical and tactical abilities would secure him a relatively easy W. I'd say Shino still only pushes Kakashi to like 1 or 2 out of 10 difficulty, but that's way better than all of those who came before. Yet again, Kakashi wins with no Senzu Bean required. Things do start to get a bit more interesting in this next matchup though. Kid Kakashi, after mowing down 8 of the Konoha 12, would be slightly warmed up by the time he has to stare down Rock Lee. While I do think Lee does have a way better chance than anyone before him, the problem for him here is that Kid Kakashi routinely beat the tar out of a carbon copy of Lee in Might Guy. Kakashi is even shown to have beaten Guy in the Chunin exams en route to being promoted. Lee's speed in the gates could pose an issue, especially if you don't consider the Kakashi Anbu arc canon, but I'm not even sure it would matter even if you throw that out. You see, it's specifically stated that the majority of Kakashi's training for Sasuke before the final round of the Chunin exams was focused on building up speed to be able to use the Chidori. Once he got Sasuke's speed around Weightless Lee level, Sasuke was ready. Now, you might be saying, Sage, that's great and all, but Weightless Lee isn't anywhere near as fast as Gated Lee, and in that, you would be correct. However, the Chidori also amps your speed to a significant degree, so if it went far enough for the gates to come into play, Kakashi still wouldn't need to worry. The reason I say this is because we see Kakashi and Guy moving relative to one another during the war arc when both of them are in base, but we also see Raikiri Kakashi keeping pace with 6th gate Guy later on. This might imply that the Chidori gives the user a 6th gate level amp in terms of speed, which is crazy. And if that's the case, Lee has 0 chance, even if we exclude the anime only stuff. I will say though, I don't believe the fight would go that far. Kakashi at 13 has already been a Jonin for around 3 to 4 years and had the Chidori in his arsenal for around the same amount of time, meaning he would have reached Weightless Lee levels of speed 3 to 4 years prior to the age cutoff. So not only is he far more experienced, versatile, and intelligent, even the hard canon material suggests that he would have surpassed even Gated Lee levels of speed by now. With that in mind, it actually makes a ton of sense for him to have become a lightning timer by this point, as shown in the anime. That said, Kakashi's automatic win condition in the Chidori and his willingness to use it give him a huge advantage. So, however you slice it, Kakashi wins low to mid diff, taking his first Senzu Bean. Next up, Kakashi faces another dojutsu-wielding prodigy, Neji Hyuga. This battle is actually pretty interesting. The scaling for Neji is incredibly contentious since we don't really know how much of an amp that KCM0 cloak Naruto got during their fight actually gives him. However, the fact that Neji was basically unreactive until Lee reached the 5th gate, and outside of the 5th gate, Neji and Lee were both pretty certain that Lee would lose to him. That leads me and a lot of other power scalers to believe that Neji should have no issue keeping up with characters in that 3rd to 4th gate Lee tier of speed. His use of the Gentle Fist and ultimate defense with rotation could also pose some serious problems for Kid Kakashi. However, as stated before, Kakashi with the Chidori likely eclipses even 5th gate Lee in terms of speed, so Kakashi does have a trump card that should be able to produce a basically guaranteed win condition. Also, keep in mind, this would be cold-blooded Kakashi. At this point in time, according to both the manga hard canon and anime extended canon material, Kakashi was not gun-shy, at all. He'd pull out the Chidori in a second with zero regrets, even if it wasn't necessarily needed or warranted. So Kakashi might just pull out the Chidori immediately against a Byakugan user as to not take any chances. And if he does that, it's pretty much over. That said, stylistically, this fight would be really cool to see. Both Kakashi and Neji are taijutsu masters, with Neji being a master of the Gentle Fist and Kakashi being on par with Gai's taijutsu. We see them scrapping a little bit in the anime and in the manga. I do think that even aside from the speed advantage, Kakashi's experience and versatility give him a pretty definitive edge in this fight, as he definitely knows about the Byakugan and isn't forced to fight a battle that favors a Gentle Fist user if he doesn't want to. Kakashi's ninja hounds are super useful here as well, since he may just be able to immobilize Neji if need be, albeit Neji might be able to use the rotation to break free, but I'm not really sure if he'd be able to, since Zabuza was probably physically superior to this version of Neji, and he wasn't able to break free from their grasp. Ultimately, whether Kakashi decides to go straight to the Chidori or play it safe and play a ranged game, Kakashi should be able to use his superior speed, intellect, versatility, and experience to get a W, regardless of what style this fight takes. So while I do think this would be a pretty cool fight to watch, at least for a short period of time, I think after a short taijutsu clash and maybe a couple of long-range ninjutsu sent out by Kakashi, he would eventually find a way to maybe use the ninja hounds or some other mechanism to get Neji in a position to where he can just put a Chidori through his chest. Kakashi wins mid-diff and takes another Senzu Bean before facing off against the two monsters of the Konoha 12. So for these last two, I'm going to just split each of them up into two separate categories. Category 1 is hard canon material only, and Category 2 is hard canon plus extended canon material. Against Naruto in character, Kakashi in both categories should win. Gamabunta doesn't listen to Naruto at this point, and I don't believe that Kakashi in character would even allow this fight to go far enough for Naruto to enter his Kyuubi amp state. Keep in mind, Naruto really only goes into the Kyuubi amp forms when he's experiencing high levels of emotional turmoil. Against Neji, Naruto would have lost without the mental amp he got from wanting to avenge Hinata. Against Sasuke, he wanted to save his best friend from himself and keep him from, turning to the dark side. And even way back in the Land of Waves arc, Naruto was only able to access the Kyuubi's chakra due to believing that Sasuke had died. So it's not something that's just readily available to him. And even in the hard canon only material, Kakashi would just pull out a Chidori off rip against powerful opponents, and we know he's able to sense chakra, so assuming they're in character and fighting seriously, Kakashi would likely sense the chakra inside of Naruto, determine that he is a threat, and put him down with the speed and power of the Chidori. But that's not what people came here to listen to. If we assume Naruto does go into the Kyuubi cloak, because that's what people do want to hear, the hard canon only Kakashi loses badly. He simply doesn't have the stamina or AP to put this version of Naruto down. Even with his superior intellect and experience, Naruto might severely outclass this version of Kakashi in basically every way outside of experience. But if we consider the extended canon material as well, this battle would be insane. Kakashi's lightning timer speed would give him a definitive edge in that category, and he does have far better stamina and AP than what we see in his manga-only counterpart. However, Naruto's AP, defense, stamina, and strength should still severely outclass Kakashi's. Although, considering the fact that Sasuke with his newly evolved 3-Tomo Sharingan was able to react to KCM0 Naruto, and even somewhat react to One-Tail Naruto, he just didn't have the physical ability to actually, move with him until he went into his curse mark states. Kakashi having roughly 3 years to master his 3-Tomo Sharingan, plus the lightning timer speed he's capable of moving at, should give him the ability to have no issue reacting to these versions of Naruto. The issue here would be determining if Kakashi could actually damage this One-Tail Naruto. We know that the cloak does protect him to some degree, but based on this clip from the anime, it seems that Kakashi should have the power output to deal some real damage, even if it takes multiple shots. So while I do believe that this fight likely wouldn't go far enough for Naruto to enter his One-Tail form either way, Even if he did, the showings Kakashi has in the extended canon material should be enough to give him the edge in this battle. If it does get to that point though, this version of Kakashi beats One-Tail Naruto with extremely high difficulty, but the manga-only hard canon version of Kakashi loses pretty bad, as I stated before. Sasuke is different though. After taking a Senzu Bean, Kakashi would find himself up against the Uchiha survivor. Sasuke doesn't require some mental amp to access his upper tiers of power, and his Sharingan and natural senses should allow for him to determine that Kakashi is in fact a threat, whereas Naruto really has no way of determining that. If we only consider the hard canon material, even if Kakashi does have superior speed in base, Sasuke's curse mark amps should allow for him to overcome that and put Kakashi down. That is, if Sasuke activates the curse mark early enough. Since I think this is the most interesting fight on here, and it could honestly be its own video, I'll sort of break down the way that I see this fight going. With this hard canon version of Kakashi, he is still in character and he is still cold-blooded Kakashi, so if Sasuke doesn't activate the curse mark early enough, he still does have a chance of getting taken down early on by a Chidori, because again, Kakashi should have at least relative speed to him and a more developed Sharingan. But assuming that cold-blooded Kakashi doesn't just opt to go with Chidori right away, I think that this would be a fight for the ages. Watching Kid Kakashi versus Kid Sasuke, both with 3-Tomo Sharingan, albeit Kakashi's more refined because he's had it for several years, going toe-to-toe in taijutsu would be incredible. I do think that we would see an amazing fight with Sasuke and Kakashi kind of going back and forth, exchanging blows, fist for fist, foot for foot, blade for blade, but eventually Kakashi would begin to get the edge. You see, because of his superior speed, experience, Sharingan, and taijutsu skill, he would eventually begin to tag Sasuke more and more, and this would lead to one of two things. Either Sasuke would attempt to get some space and then activate his Chidori, to which Kakashi would activate his Chidori, and we would see a clash of, 2,000 birds. And this is a clash that Kakashi would win, giving him the W. Again, his more refined Sharingan should help him here. But the other option is Sasuke would realize that he needs a physical edge and activate his curse mark to give him the amp he needs, allowing for him to slowly overpower Kakashi, giving Sasuke the W. Since he has no reluctancy to activate the curse mark during his battle with Naruto, I actually lean towards Sasuke activating the curse mark and slowly overpowering this version of Kakashi. So the way I see the hard canon material only Kakashi faring against Sasuke is he either wins by activating the Chidori off rip and putting a hole through Sasuke's chest, or he loses because he engages in a taijutsu bout, to which Sasuke responds with opening the curse mark, getting a physical edge, and then eventually just overpowering Kakashi as the fight dragged along. If we consider the extended canon material though, I think that Kakashi wins pretty definitively. Again, cold-blooded Kakashi would see Sasuke, probably activate his Chidori, and use his lightning timer speed to kill Sasuke before he ever had a chance to access the curse mark. But since we gave Naruto his amp, we'll do the same for the Uchiha Avenger. In a battle between extended canon Kakashi and CM2 Sasuke, we'd have one of the greatest clashes in the history of anime. Sasuke does have the AP, defense, stamina, and strength advantages. Kakashi, though, would still have the speed and experience advantages, with their versatility being relatively even. I see this battle opening up with a physical clash, with Kakashi keeping up speed-wise with no issues, but gradually getting overwhelmed by Sasuke's superior strength and durability. Kakashi would eventually pull out his blade, attempting to give himself a close-quarters edge. His blade, however, would have an incredibly difficult time cutting through Sasuke's ridiculously durable skin. This would likely lead to Kakashi trying to get some space and potentially utilizing a clone to find an opening in Sasuke's defenses. We know that in character, Kakashi likes to send in a clone, see what the opponent can do, and then come in whenever he's developed a plan, so I don't see why he wouldn't do that here. Sasuke, though, would continue pressuring Kakashi, using his superior physicals to overwhelm him. Even though Kakashi would be able to create some distance between himself and Sasuke with his speed, Sasuke would just continue coming at him relentlessly. As Kakashi separates again and again, trying to get space just to breathe, he would have fireballs amped with curse mark chakra coming after him one after another, followed by the winged demon himself, Sasuke Uchiha, and the copy ninja would have a difficult time creating an opening for a counterattack. If this were part 1 Kakashi, his stamina would wane quickly, but this version of Kakashi is in peak physical condition, allowing for him to keep his distance and utilize clones for long enough to eventually set a trap. Sasuke would get tired of chasing Kakashi across the battlefield at some point and eventually make some kind of quip about how Kakashi just keeps running away before activating his Onyx Chidori. Kakashi would then activate his own Chidori in response. These two prodigies would charge their attacks, dash at one another, launching their attacks at full speed at one another's hearts. Both combatants would be pierced, Sasuke through the shoulder and Kakashi through the heart. Sasuke's curse mark amped eyes would give him the slight perception edge that he would need to win this clash. With heavy breath, Sasuke would watch as blood pooled in Kakashi's mouth, and just as he was about to pull his arm from Kakashi's chest, we'd see a flash of light, and Kakashi's body would transform into a lightning bolt, shocking the Uchiha Avenger. It's at this time we'd see a red glow of a Sharingan fly up behind Sasuke, and just as he was about to turn around, a lightning-cloaked hand would plunge into his back. Cold-blooded Kakashi would live up to his name, securing a W with super high difficulty. You see, with both Kakashi and Sasuke having definitive advantages in multiple categories, the tides of battle would only be changed by who possessed the superior mind. Not only does Kakashi consistently show some of the best tactical and strategy feats in the series, he has a massive edge in experience. These advantages would allow Kakashi to formulate a plan and create an opening on the fly to deal a killing blow. Don't get me wrong here, Sasuke does have a great tactical mind, but his showings just aren't on the same level as Kakashi's. Shikamaru is clearly shown over and over again to be the smartest of the Konoha 12, and Kakashi is outright stated to be smarter than him. At this point in the series, while Sasuke does have some really creative and interesting tactical feats, he also relies heavily on raw power to get the job done, especially with his curse mark, and that would eventually lead to his downfall. Kakashi at this point in time would have been a Jonin for 3 to 4 years and in the Anbu for at least 2 years, so he would know how to counter somebody that was just aggressively pushing and trying to overpower him. It's not like he hasn't been in dozens or hundreds or even thousands of battles with other shinobi, some of which will have already tried this. And with Kakashi being incredibly crafty and really tactical, I do believe that this is something that could happen. He would definitely be able to come up with some sort of plan to either immobilize Sasuke or trick him to get him off guard so that he could land a killing blow. At this point in time, Sasuke again is incredibly smart, but he just lacks the experience that Kakashi would be able to bring into the battle. And Kakashi has shown us time and time again, specifically in his fight against Itachi, that when he gets got, he never gets got in that same way ever again. So I do believe that Kakashi's superior experience, his slight speed advantage, his ability to think on the fly, and his ability to wound somebody on the level of Sasuke should be able to give him the edge here and secure him a W. So, to review, Hard Canon Kakashi wins all of these matchups, aside from the ones where Sasuke and Naruto get their Final Valley amps, in which case he gets severely outclassed. Extended Canon Kakashi gets the W against each and every member of the Konoha 12, including the amped versions of Naruto and Sasuke, albeit with high difficulty. You see, when it comes to prodigies, Kakashi is second to none, outside of maybe Itachi or Minato. Being the youngest Genin, Chunin, and Jonin ever, while possessing at least 2 A-rank ninjutsu and multiple years of actual battle experience, Kakashi at 13 was simply far further ahead development-wise than anyone in the Konoha 12. Arguably the most important thing here, though, is that Kakashi on the battlefield developed a killer instinct at that age that our favorite group of Genin simply didn't possess at that time. Growing up on the battlefield may have left Kakashi scarred, but it also led to him becoming a true warrior at a young age, giving him a significant edge against the vast majority of other shinobi, child and adult alike. So, just remember, when it comes to a discussion about prodigies in Naruto, make sure to put some respect on Kakashi's name. But what did you guys think? Did I miss anything? Was I 100% correct? Let me know in the comments section below. Also, let me know if you want to see Kakashi face off against any other prodigies from the Naruto series, or maybe elaborate with a full video of Kakashi versus Sasuke. Finally, if you've made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day.